welcome back everybody to the C++ Text RPG series. And in the last episode, let's build this real quick, we made the typewriter. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get the order to work. So when you do this, you can actually change the order of your players. Let's get into that now. First thing we're going to need to do is open up our game menu state. I took the liberty of adding in another player so we have all three players. So if you don't have that, you should just be able to quickly, these are all test players anyway. Eventually we're going to be wanting to load players from file, but we'll get to that later. So first thing we're going to want to do, so we need to make two choices. So we need to select a player and then select another player, and then they'll swap each other. And if you remember, we have our player position. So we're going to want to change the player's position. So I believe we have that. So let's go into player. And right here, we have our get party position and set party position. So we're going to need to use those. So let's go back into in-game menu state, and we're going to have just an int m first choice and m second choice. If you see here, we already have an order selection for our select type. So let's go into our game. Actually, let's make another function as well real quick. We'll call this void update player order. You could say player position, but I think it makes more sense for order. So we can make that right now. And we'll get to that. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go into here and see, we already have our select type set to order right here. So we're going to want to create a new function here called set order placement. And what this is going to do, this is going to be taking in the current player's position. Get the party position. So let's actually make this function right now. And we'll just say int player position. Make this function. And then we can go back here and we can actually have something in our update function now. Right here we can just put our update player order. And before we fill out those, let's initialize those values. So we're going to do those right here. And first choice, and we're going to initialize these to -1. Because if it's -1, we know we haven't set them yet. So let's first do set player position, or set order placement, sorry. So this one's pretty straightforward. We just go if m first choice is less than 0, m first choice is equal to player number, or player position, sorry. Else, if m second choice is less than 0, m second choice is equal to player position. That way, if it already has a value, it's just going to go to the next one. If it already has values for both, it's just going to ignore these. Before we do the update player position, we need to be able to reset this. So say you just hit the backspace button and you don't want to hold these values. So say you jump out of order and you go back into the main select. So we're going to want to, when we do our backspace right here, we can just do this right in here. We can just go m first choice is equal to m second choice, which is equal to -1. That'll reset them both back to -1. Now let's do the update player order function. So there's a little bit more to this function. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to check to see if both of our choices are above 0. And then we're going to go through our party. So you go through the party, get the member at that position, and change that to the next position. What we'll be doing is we'll go through the party and we'll get the person or the player that has this value. And then we will swap it with the player with the second value. So we'll set the player's position as this choice. Does that make sense? So we'll do that right now. So first thing we want to do is check to see if first choice is greater than 0 and second choice is greater than 0. Actually, we can do it the other way around. We can do it if it's less than 0 and just leave. So if it's less than 0, just leave. Otherwise, first thing I'm going to want to do is go through all of our members in the party. And in here, we're going to check the positions. So if member is equal to first choice, in here we're going to want to set the party position to the second choice. And then we're going to do the same again right here. However, it's an else. And set this one to first choice. After that, now we have to sort, because right now we actually have two datas. I know it's not the most optimal way to do it, but we have the data for the selector and we also have the data for the party itself. So we're going to want to sort both of them. So then we can just say sort the original data. So all we need to do for that is use std sort, and then with that we send in our party. Let's get rid of this. We don't just send in the party, sorry. We send in the m party, get party dot begin, and then m party dot get party dot end. And then we have to have a little lambda function in here as well. So this lambda function is going to capture a reference, and we're going to need to do a std shared pointer for a player reference, and we'll call this just right hand, and then std shared pointer player reference left hand. Sorry. And then from there we need to do this. Let's actually bring this down to the next line here. So here we're going to want to return if right hand dot get party position is less than left hand get party position. So this is returning basically a Boolean. It's checking to see, and then it's sorting accordingly. So we need to do the same thing for our selector data as well. So we just copy this. It's basically the same. And then we need to go m player selector, and it's get data m player selector get data. The rest should be the same. Then from there, we're gonna want to reset our selections. So M first choice is equal to M second choice, which is equal to -1. Then we're gonna want to go MB, automatically go back into our menu. Reset our select type. Back to select type none. And then we want to show our other selector. What do we call that? Is it just menu selector? Yeah, menu selector dot show cursor. And then we're going to hide the player cursor. After that, we're going to want to clear our buffer. Okay, I believe that's all we need. Let's test it out and see if it works. Oh, we broke down. Let's see what we got. So we have a few problems here. All right, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, the problem is that was actually in this function here, in the get data function. Before we had this as const, so it wasn't allowing us to change any of the data inside of it. So if we go to this function here, that's in our selector. All I did is I removed the const from this, so we're still getting a vector reference, but it's not const any longer. So we can now actually change or manipulate that data inside of it. So now it should work accordingly. So I removed those consts, and make sure you have the exact same here. And then it will run it. So if we go into here, go to order, and switch. All right. Let me know what you guys think about that. Leave a comment in the below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content. And let me know if there's anything else you want me to work on or any ways that I could improve the videos for you guys. All right, take it easy.